This is ChainMind, the decentralized AI network built for everyone. Just search ChainMind on Google, sign up, download the app, and you're in. That's it. You've joined the network. Run it on any device, phone, laptop, or server. Why ChainMind? Fully decentralized, fully yours.
Imagine scrolling through a Reddit thread so deep it feels like a digital canyon, and suddenly the words you've been reading start talking to you in a clear, friendly voice. That moment of surprise is exactly what Reddit's new AI-powered podcasts and videos are designed to create, and it's reshaping the way we think about content consumption on the internet. Reddit has always been a place where communities gather to discuss everything from the latest meme to cutting-edge scientific research, but the bulk of that conversation lives in plain text. For many users, that text is a barrier. A visually impaired reader can't see the jokes, a commuter can't keep scrolling while the train rattles, and a casual browser often skips past long, dense posts because they look like a chore. By feeding the original submission and the most insightful comments into a text-to-speech pipeline, Reddit is turning those static pages into bite-sized audio clips and short videos that you can listen to while you jog, watch while you wait in line, or share on TikTok with a single tap. The move does three things at once. First, it opens the platform to people who previously couldn't access the content at all, turning the subreddit into a truly inclusive space. Second, it lets users consume information while multitasking, which is exactly how modern media is consumed on smartphones. Third, it gives each post a new visual hook that can travel beyond Reddit's own feeds, extending the community's reach into the wider social media ecosystem. In short, the audio and video layers are a shortcut to higher engagement, longer session times, and richer advertising possibilities. Behind the scenes, the transformation is a carefully orchestrated three-stage pipeline. The first stage is content extraction, where an orchestrator scans the firehose of new submissions, filters them by length, community rules, and engagement signals, and decides which posts are worth turning into media. Imagine a popular Ask Science thread about quantum entanglement. The system would pull the original question, the top voted answer, and perhaps a few clarifying comments. In the second stage, a large language model steps in to summarize the thread, distill the key points, and rewrite them in a conversational tone that sounds natural when spoken. This isn't a simple copy and paste. The model must decide which technical terms need a brief definition, where to insert pauses for emphasis, and how to preserve the original author's intent while keeping the script under a minute long. The final stage hands the polished script to a neural text-to-speech engine that renders it with a synthetic voice, then a lightweight video editor adds subtitles, community logos, and optional background imagery, often a static illustration or a looping animation that matches the subreddit's theme. Each of those steps introduces latency, compute cost, and quality trade-offs. A cloud-based TTS model can cost a few cents per minute of audio and take several seconds to generate a high-fidelity waveform, which is acceptable for a handful of daily experiments but becomes a bottleneck when you scale to millions of posts per day. That's where a decentralized inference network like ChainMind becomes a game-changer. ChainMind operates a peer-to-peer marketplace where idle GPU capacity around the world can be rented on demand to run inference workloads. Instead of a single data center shouldering the entire load, the TTS and summarization tasks are spread across a mesh of nodes that each contribute a slice of the compute power they have sitting idle on a gaming rig, a research lab, or a corporate server. The economic impact is immediate. By tapping into underutilized hardware, the cost per audio minute can drop by up to 60% compared to traditional cloud pricing. But the benefits go beyond dollars. Because the network is distributed, latency can be reduced dramatically. Edge nodes positioned close to Reddit's own servers can process a request in sub-second time, keeping the scroll momentum smooth and the user experience feeling instantaneous. Moreover, decentralization gives Reddit a powerful compliance tool. If a post originates in the European Union, the inference can be routed to a node that resides in the same jurisdiction, ensuring the data never leaves the region and simplifying GDPR obligations. In essence, ChainMind turns a monolithic, capital-intensive AI stack into a flexible, pay-as-you-go service that scales with the community's growth. Quality control is the next hurdle. Modern diffusion-based vocoders can produce speech that captures intonation, breath, and even subtle emotional cues, but they also demand a lot of GPU horsepower. If the voice sounds robotic, users will quickly abandon the feature. If it glitches or drops words, the credibility of the platform suffers. ChainMind's marketplace can host specialized inference nodes that are optimized for these heavyweight models, and the network can reward the best performers with token incentives tied to latency and audio fidelity. A reputation system lets Reddit automatically select the top-ranking providers for each job, creating a feedback loop where quality improves without Reddit having to own or maintain any hardware. Think of it as a crowdsourced audio lab. The more reliable the node, the more work it gets, and the more it earns, while the platform enjoys consistently high-quality output. But turning text into audio also magnifies the moderation challenge. A hateful comment that might be skimmed over in a long thread becomes amplified when spoken aloud, reaching ears that might not have otherwise encountered it. Reddit therefore needs an automated moderation layer that can flag toxic language before synthesis begins. Decentralized inference can host these moderation models on edge nodes as well, allowing the content check to happen in parallel with summarization, shaving off precious milliseconds. By distributing the moderation workload, Reddit avoids a single point of failure that could be overwhelmed during a surge of breaking news posts or viral memes. The token-based incentive structure can even reward node operators for correctly flagging violations, aligning economic incentives with community safety. In practice, a node that catches a slur in a comment and reports it before the audio is generated earns a small bonus, while a node that lets harmful content slip through loses reputation and future work. This creates a self-policing ecosystem that scales with the volume of content. From the creator's perspective, the new audio-first format unlocks fresh monetization pathways. Power users, AMA hosts, hobbyist writers, niche community leaders, can embed sponsorship messages at the beginning or end of a podcast clip, much like traditional podcasters do. Because the audio is generated algorithmically, those ad reads can be dynamic. A listener in New York might hear a local coffee shop promo, while a user in Tokyo hears a different sponsor, all without the creator having to produce separate recordings. Advertisers gain access to a hybrid inventory that blends the authenticity of user-generated discussion with the polish of professionally produced audio. Short video snippets, meanwhile, can be automatically formatted for platforms like TikTok, giving creators exposure on channels they never had to edit for themselves. The economic upside is clear. More ad inventory, higher CPMs, and a new revenue stream that doesn't rely on the creator manually recording and editing content. For Reddit, that means deeper ties with its most active contributors and a stronger incentive for them to keep the conversation flowing. But the road ahead isn't without pitfalls. Synthetic voices often inherit the biases of the data they were trained on, which can result in a limited set of accents or gendered tones that alienate underrepresented communities. Reddit will need to curate a diverse voice library, perhaps even allowing community-sourced voice models that reflect the platform's global user base. Copyright is another gray area. Summarizing a copyrighted article and turning it into audio could be construed as creating a derivative work. A pre-synthesis content ownership check, where the system verifies whether the source material is in the public domain or covered by fair use, can mitigate legal exposure. Resource exhaustion is a real concern during breaking news events when thousands of users request audio versions of the same story. A hybrid approach that dynamically balances load between centralized cloud bursts and the decentralized mesh can act as a safety net, ensuring the service stays responsive even under peak demand. Finally, user fatigue can set in if every post is automatically turned into audio. Relevance scoring should surface only high-value content, preserving the novelty and keeping the feature a pleasant surprise rather than a background noise. Looking beyond podcasts and short clips, the same infrastructure can power a suite of next-generation experiences. Imagine a voice-enabled Reddit bot that you can ask, "What's the hottest discussion in our technology today?" and it reads you a curated summary, turning the platform into a conversational newsfeed. By chaining a translation model before the TTS engine, the same post could be delivered in dozens of languages, dramatically expanding Reddit's global reach. Personalized summaries could be generated on the fly, offering brief highlights for casual browsers and deep dive versions for power users who want every nuance. All of these extensions rely on the ability to spin up specialized models on demand, something a decentralized inference network handles naturally, without requiring Reddit to provision dedicated hardware for each new capability. In the middle of all this innovation, there's a common misconception that decentralized AI is too fragmented to meet the reliability standards of a platform the size of Reddit. The reality is quite the opposite. A well-orchestrated mesh of nodes can provide sub-second latency, cost predictability, and geographic compliance that a single cloud provider struggles to match. By leveraging ChainMind's token-incentivized marketplace, Reddit can turn a potential weakness, distributed, heterogeneous hardware, into a strength, creating a resilient, scalable, and community-aligned AI backbone. So what does this mean for the future of online communities? It means that the line between text-centric forums and multimodal media hubs is blurring. It means that creators can reach audiences in the format they prefer at the moment they prefer, without having to learn a new set of production tools. And it means that the infrastructure powering these experiences can be open, flexible, and owned by a network of participants rather than a single corporation. ChainMind is positioned to be the connective tissue that makes this vision possible, providing the low-cost, low-latency, and compliance-friendly inference layer that platforms like Reddit need to scale responsibly. If you're intrigued by the idea of a truly open, AI-augmented internet, where anyone with spare GPU cycles can help power the next generation of content, where creators earn fairly, and where moderation is a shared responsibility, stay tuned. Follow ChainMind, join the conversation, and be part of the movement that turns decentralized inference from a buzzword into the foundation of a more inclusive, efficient, and innovative web.